Okay. So I know that it's okay. So there are a couple of ways you can solve the the problems that are related to the conditional probability, right?
You need to share your screen.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so there's a couple of ways, right? There's a couple of ways you can solve a conditional probability problems, right? The first one is obviously you can use your hand, right? And like you can use pencil and paper, right? And then using your calculator, you can come up with these numbers, right? Or you can use Excel spreadsheet. So for example, this is the pivot table that we've created, right? So when you look at this pivot table, you see that's number 64. So just click any number, right? And then go to the value field setting, right? And then please click the shown value as, right? And then so percent of the grand total, right? And then okay. So you see, this is the actually the probability, right? So this one, right? So hold on. Okay. So this is the probability, right? So married and no default is 0.213, right? It's a 0.213, right? So this is a percent. So if you change to convert this, this percent number, right, to the probability, this is what 0.213, right? Which is this 0.213, right? Okay. So this is something that you can easily. So this is something that you should use when you're doing your homework assignment, right? Or you can use just. I want you to. You should know both. I mean, this is like a hands-on approach, and this is using the Excel spreadsheet, right? So what about the conditional probability, right? So for the conditional probability, right? Let's just click this guy, right? And then go to the value field setting, and then show the value as. This time, it's let's say percent of the row total. Okay, so okay, now, so this is as you can see, if this is like the grand total is this is like a 100%, right? So this is, hold on, let's see. Okay, so okay, you know what? So this is so if you look at this row, right? This married is 100%, meaning that given your customer is married, because that's the grand total is 100%, right? And then what is the, so okay, so let me just write this down. So if you look at this result, right? You see the married, and then 44%, and then 55.24, and the grand total is 100%, right? So this is like a no default. So it's no default, and this is default case, right? Okay, now let's take a look at this row, right? So the 100% means that given your customer is a male, right? This is given. So what is the probability that it's the your customer defaults on the mortgage? So that's the number. So this number is probability that it's the married is given, because that's 100%. It's given this, the probability that it's your customer is what? Default on the mortgage. So this D. And this means 55.24%, which is 0.5524, right? So that's a probability. So let's take a look at compare the previous, right? So we have this DM and then 5524, right? It matches. So any question? Okay, and then this one, right? It's we have not really calculated, but if you calculate it, you will probably get okay. So for this, right? So let's just find the probability that DS. So that means given, right? The single. So this is the one. So if you look at this row, right? This is like 73%, and this is like a 26%, right? So given is a single, right? And the probability your customer is default is 26%. So this means probability that it's your customer is default given that it's a single. Okay, because if you look at the single, that is like 100% here. You see that it's single 100%, right? So that's what it means. Now, if you want to calculate, if you want to calculate, right? If you want to calculate the, like for example, let's say if you want to calculate the, let's say default is given, right? So let's say your customer, what is given is, you try to find the probability that your customer is single, given that your customer is defaults on the mortgage, right? To find this, you have to change this value. So go to the value field setting, and then shown value as, and this time percentage of column total. Okay, so now you see that 100% is on the column, right? So if I just write this, for example, right, it's a married, and then 35.56%, and this is like 65%, right? And then 64%, and this one is a 34%, right? And then this is like total is 100%, right? And this is D naught, and this is a D, right? So basically, for example, right, we've tried to find this, right? Given is D, and find the S. So this is a single. Okay, so this is the value. So 30%. So this is the given that it's D, right? And then find the probability that is S, single. Okay, and this is how you can use the Excel spreadsheet to find the conditional probability. Okay, this is like one example. Of course, you can use Excel spreadsheet, or you can use like this hands-on approach, right? Just using a pencil and paper and then calculator. Okay, so any question? Okay, so let's just take a 1-minute break.